Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is EJ Spurl, and today we're tackling the issue of cultural appropriation. Welcome to Trigger Warning. So, what exactly is cultural appropriation? Wikipedia calls it the adoption of some specific elements of one culture by a different cultural group, and it's very closely related to acculturation, which shows the progress of a culture whilst being inclusive of smaller cultures held within, which on the outside seems fine, but online it's taken on a life of its own. It's seen as a negative thing that oppresses people and relegates their cultures to costumes and little else. So to help you get a better idea of what these people are saying about it, we've put together this little public service announcement. Let's check it out.
This is John.
Hi.
John is a white man.
Yep.
John is thinking about growing his hair out into dreadlocks.
I was considering it, yes.
I wouldn't do that, John.
Why not?
Because of cultural appropriation.
Cultural appropriation? What's that?
Cultural appropriation is when white men, like yourself, steals the cultural identity of a minority.
I'm not stealing anything. I'm just...
Now, John, people already think you're a racist. You don't want to dig yourself a deeper hole now, do you?
No, but...
John just doesn't understand how a hairstyle he likes can be racist.
Not really, no.
But John doesn't have to understand how it makes the cultures he appropriates feel. Wait a second, John. Is that a lip piercing?
Yeah?
For shame, John. Don't you know that you're now culturally appropriating indigenous people?
Am I?
You are, John. There are a number of things that you shouldn't culturally appropriate from indigenous peoples or other cultures. Here's a good list for you to just keep in mind. There you go, John. Now don't you feel better knowing that?
Not really, no.
Good. You're one step closer to being not racist. You look hungry, John. Why not have a bite to eat?
Well, I have this burrito.
Oh no, John. You're doing it again.
Doing what?
You're not Mexican, John. Don't you know that eating Mexican food when you're not Mexican is cultural appropriation?
But Taco Bell.
It doesn't matter, John. After all, you don't want to be racist now, do you?
No. I guess I can order Chinese.
I definitely wouldn't suggest that, John.
Let me guess. Cultural appropriation?
Now you're getting it.
So, what can I have?
Here you go, John. Enjoy.
It's a potato.
It is...
It's not even cooked.
No, John. Cooking food was invented by cavemen. You don't want to appropriate caveman culture, do you?
I don't want to eat it raw either.
Well, you're gonna have to deal with it, John. To help you on your way, though, here's another handy list to help you understand what kind of foods you're not allowed to eat. There you go, John. Now doesn't that make you feel more enlightened?
It makes me feel hungry.
That's great, John. Now you understand how ethnic groups feel when you appropriate their cuisine.
Ay, caramba.
Was that Spanish, John?
I think so.
For shame, John. Don't you know you're now appropriating the language of other cultures? You're a white man. Speaking in any language other than your own is oppression and thus racism.
You're serious.
Of course I am. I spent 12 hours talking with people on the internet about this, and we all agree. Careful there, John. Shaking your head is appropriating Middle Eastern culture.
This is getting ridiculous.
That's just what a racist would say, John.
Is there anything that I can have?
Of course, John. You can have respect for oppressed minorities. The rest is off limits. After all, white people invented literally nothing and have no culture of their own. Now don't you feel less racist now, John?
Hey, that white guy's eating a burrito. Get him!
So now that you have a better idea on many of the claims that are being made about cultural appropriation, it's time to explore the issue a little bit and figure out what these claims are actually trying to say. Now, I am by no means suggesting that all forms of cultural appropriation are okay. In some cases, such as the adoption of Native American headdresses for costumes and whatnot, it can be considered offensive. But the reality is that this idea has taken on a life of its own. And it's clearly gone too far in making the claims that so much as visiting a country that is not one that you're part of is in itself racism. This idea is clearly ignorant. How do you expect to learn or get out of your bubble if the idea of visiting another country or learning another language is oppressive? How do you expect to actually understand other cultures if by simply expressing an appreciation of said culture is considered racist? When you call somebody who appreciates ethnic cuisine racist for enjoying the food, you're literally encouraging them to stop supporting ethnic restaurants, which are usually run by ethnic families. You are literally taking the food directly from their children's mouths. The point is that there comes a time when the fight against racism goes too far. Nobody's suggesting that racism is the way to go. It's an outdated and vastly outmoded method of understanding other cultures. And it is rightly offensive to any thinking individual. Ultimately, calling somebody out for enjoying aspects of someone else's culture does more harm in the erasure of that culture than good. You are attempting to alienate that culture from outside support and from the wider world. And that contributes far more to their erasure than anything else. Not to mention the fact that by taking such a hard-line approach is alienating yourself and your cause from being taken seriously. Most people will agree that racism is bad, but acculturation? Not so much. I can argue that it's helpful to these cultures just as much as you can twist logic around to suggest that it's harmful to them. Also, I'm going to venture a guess to say that unless you originate from said culture, you have exactly zero say in the matter. Take a look at yourself in the mirror. Are you Indian? No? Then stop calling out those who appreciate Indian culture. Are you Asian? No? Then stop calling out those who appreciate Asian culture. Wearing a bindi doesn't harm anybody. Dressing up in a kimono is not harming anybody. A white person who goes to Japan is not only welcomed, but expected to participate in the local culture. And that does include Avril Lavigne. So thanks for listening, guys. My name is EJ Spurl, and if you've enjoyed this episode, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe below, and be sure to add Black Trident TV on Facebook and Twitter. Also, if you have any ideas for future episodes, let me know. I'd like to hear them. Even obesity is beautiful, and that there's something wrong with a society that values fitness and health over fried chicken and cupcakes. So I wanted to take